Hello, good evening, and welcome once again to Unilag 103.1 FM.
Yay.
And my name is Taiwo, and with me in the studio tonight is Anu. And I'm sure you're wondering, where's Ngozi and Shay?
And Shay, it's just me and T-Spice today.
And both of them are missing in action. Welcome once again. This is Girlfriends on 103.1 FM. It's good to be back right here with you guys. And before I go to Anu, let me ask you out there, how was your week? Yeah, I heard all of that. I know.
Yes, we understand. We can identify. How was your week, Ty? I'm throwing it back at you.
Well, my week was good. The funny thing is, it was Monday, and then it was Tuesday, and it was Wednesday, and it was Thursday.
You don't know where the week went.
And then suddenly Friday, and I'm like, hold on, what did I do this week? I don't know.
Seriously, can I have your life? I wish my week whipped by just like that, but unfortunately, I went through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all 24 hours of the day, and well, I still have a lot to thank God for, but it was the usual grueling business as usual.
Yeah, thank God for life. At least once you have life, then you're happy that you can do stuff.
Definitely.
Well, it's good to have you once again on the show. This is Girlfriends on 103.1 FM, and today we are talking about being assertive. You know, how can you be assertive? How do you, get your word to others? How do you get it stuck on their head that this is what I'm saying, this is my position, and I'm not changing my mind for anything?
And it could even be as simple as how do you, how can you say no when you want to say no? Sometimes it's so hard to say no, if you are not the assertive person. And talking from experience, well, I think we'll deal with that later after the first break. But trust me, it could really put you in a tricky situation when you can't say no.
Yeah.
So,
well, before we go on the first break, let's just talk a bit more about, this topic of discussion, because sometimes you're thinking to yourself, when you say I'm assertive, what exactly does that mean? What is the thin line, what is the fine line between being rude and being assertive?
That's a very good question. Sometimes some people are not assertive because they don't want to come off being rude or aggressive, but when you're assertive, you're letting your opinion be known without necessarily trying to hurt another person. You're just putting what is inside of you, you're just expressing yourself and what you want at that particular time. Okay, when you're being aggressive, you're not caring about what other people's opinion are, when you're being rude or aggressive. But when you're being assertive, you're just letting them know what you feel and what you want at that particular time. And if you don't let them know, then it's going to be a problem for you, because you're gonna end up not feeling good about that situation, and you're going to carry that along with you wherever you're going. Okay,
let's narrow this down, because it seems like it's a very wide and broad topic, and sometimes you really cannot figure out what we are trying to say. So let's box it in scenarios. For example, you're in a relationship, right, and you probably have this personality that is very quiet and gentle, and then you start off being gentle, being nice, being polite, and before you know it, you become a doormat in which people just walk over you. Your boyfriend or your husband or whatever, that the love of your life walks over you, because it's easy for them to get you to say yes when you mean no. And then the reason why you don't want to say no is because you're thinking, I don't want to be rude. You're thinking, I don't want to, how do I show this person that I love you, but at this time it's not convenient for me? Am I being selfish by saying no? And so sometimes all these things play on in our minds, because we are thinking, well, love is all about giving and taking. Well, maybe I'm taking too much, let me give. Whereas, your mind really says no to that situation.
A classic scenario here in relationships is the guy is ready for sex and the lady is not ready. In her heart of heart, she knows she wants to wait, but she can't say no because she's afraid. Okay, maybe he'll see me as being prude. It will turn him off. But sometimes you never know. The person may love you enough to actually respect whatever it is that you're wishing, but just because you're not assertive, you just give in. And so many people give in, and it causes so many things, in relation, because that's just a classic example. It happens to so many young ladies out there. So
yeah, well, let's take a musical break, and when we come back, I still think that we really haven't dived into the topic and attacked it,
because there's a lot to say.
Yeah, we need to attack it. So we'll take a musical break, and when we come back, we'll definitely be doing some attacking in the studio. Right, guys, before we dive into the topic and attack it like I promised you before we went on the musical break, I'd like to give out a number in case you want to be a part of the show and just talk about your experiences, you know, in the areas of being assertive, you know, in every situation that you find yourself. So the number you can text us is 0701 672 3656. I'll take that again, 0701 672 3656. So Anu, attack.
Okay, now what is not being assertive? Okay, I can tell you what not being assertive is. So I have two superiors in the office, and one of them says, Anu, could you help me do this? Okay, all right, no problem, I'll do it. Second one goes, Anu, actually at a different time, obviously. Anu, can you help me do this? Okay, inside me I'm like,
is it part of your job description or it's just favors?
Favors, but we're relating to work, right? So, you know, inside me I'm like, okay, I already have my own duties to do, and my first superior has told me to do something, and the second one is now coming to tell me to do something. I don't feel it's proper to say, oh, but the other person just told me to do this. I'll feel like it's like I'm trying to shirk duties or something, you know. So I say, okay, I'll do it. At the end of the day, obviously I'll have a difficult time doing everything I have to do, and at the end of the day I'm gonna get, you know, either a query or I'm gonna get some backlash for my action.
I think speaking out really is something that every person needs to do.
Yeah.
Because when you, like for example, the scenario you just gave, you know, you end up being responsible because you did not tell them that you had something doing. You had your hands full already, and so the fact that you didn't tell them that you had your hands full, you know, you can now come up and say, oh, I had so much to do, and that's why, you know.
Exactly.
And aside that too, I think that in the area of being assertive, sometimes, you know, it helps when you just look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am not a machine. You know, I think that I can do what I set up to do, but at the same time there's sometimes that I've just overworked my capacity and I need to take a break. But if you keep taking everything on because you cannot say no, or if you cannot just say no because you're trying to please people, then you end up being a fool, sorry to say.
The thing is that people pick up on that. They pick up on it if they find out that you're someone that, you know, everyone around you want to start taking advantage of you. Either it's not that they're bad people, but they just feel that, okay, this person, she will yield. Let's
talk about personality types, you know. Where is this unassertiveness coming from? Is it coming from your background, being emotionally blackmailed and abused, and you think, okay, because I've had a tough time in my past relationships and people only accept me, you know, if I do them certain favors? Is that where it's coming from? Or is it coming from insecurity? Is it coming from, you know, an inwired thing, like you're naturally wired to be timid?
You know, I think it's actually more of your natural, you know, affinity. You being naturally wired to be either, you know, the outspoken one or the timid one or the aggressive one or the submissive one, you know. And I feel that factors in your environment also encourage or help you to overcome, as the case may be, you know. Because for instance now, like I'm someone who is timid, and I have aggressive people around me, and the little times I try to raise my voice, I get shut down. Obviously, my timidity is going to grow, you know, and it's going to become, you know, a lot more. So, and also, if I'm someone who is timid and I have people who are encouraging, I know you wanted that piece of cake. Why didn't you just say you wanted it? Why didn't you speak out?
But that's something that everybody needs to realize.
Yeah.
In this world, if you allow people to take advantage of you, they will. You know, even your husband, sorry to say, even your husband, people who are close to you, at convenient times when it matters to them, you know, they can encourage you and say, you need to speak up more. But once they see that weak trait in you, sometimes it might be unconsciously, it just tells themselves, I can always get away with that.
You don't even say your husbands, your children. those little children, you know, they know how to, in fact, they know how to emotionally blackmail parents. And I've seen, I was usually the timid one, but I saw my siblings like doing it, getting their way, you know. Because if you're a parent and you're not assertive, it's really, really bad. Because number one, you're not letting your child know that you're a figure of authority, and number two, you're gonna allow your children to get away with things that will actually affect them in future too. You know, your child wants to stay out all night, you can't say no, because you know, even though you know it's not something you want at that point, you can't say no. You feel you can't say no to your child. It's actually going to affect them, and it's going to affect you too. So it's really something that you just have to, it's just being true to yourself, knowing exactly how you feel about every situation and letting that known, making that known to people, you know. And it also goes a long way in telling everyone how confident you are in yourself.
Okay, we'll take another musical break, and then when we come back, you know, we'll try to round up. All right, so we're on the last lap of the game of the show, whatever.
Yeah.
So we're talking about ways in which we could start to, you know, encourage or encourage ourselves to speaking out and speaking up when we're uncomfortable with some things and with some situations.
Well, I feel there's no magic bullet approach. I think all you have to do is be true to yourself and say exactly what you wish at that particular time. Because if you don't, it's going to lead to resentment, it's going to lead to anger, it's going to lead to even you feeling like you have to, you know, vengeful feelings, because obviously you're not happy with the situation and you cannot, you know, say what you feel. You're going to be even more mad at yourself. Okay, so basically it's all about just saying exactly, being very true to yourself and saying exactly what it is that you feel at that point in time.
Yeah, and on the last note, the way I say it is that when you see that other people are human, you know, I look at Anna and I'm thinking, she didn't create me. There's no way that, you know, I could say something and, you know, there's no way that I can look at her in the eyes and say, you know what, I'm not comfortable with this and she's going to kill me. She's not going to kill me. And so since I know that she's not going to kill me, then I should not be afraid of her. She's human. She's not superwoman. She's human. And so I think the more you begin to remind yourself that the worst anybody can tell you is go out of my life. I don't want you in my life. Or, you know, say things to you that will make you feel bad, but eventually you'll feel good for speaking up.
Are you sure I'm not superhuman though? I may have some secret powers that you haven't realized yet.
Alright guys, we need to fly out of the studio. So we'll see you same time next week, and I'm sure all the ladies will be in the house next week. We're going to be complete, and then we're going to have, I think we're going to continue this show, this topic next week.
I think it's necessary.
Yeah, we're going to continue this topic next week. So if you're interested in contributing to this, you want to share your experience, make sure you make it a date with us next week, and we'll see you online. Okay, we've got to go now. Bye.
Bye.